Hi everyone, Charles from the Food People here, and I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Back today for the 8th episode in our 12-part series, looking at the longer term shifts in food and drink in the COVID era through the lens of our annual trends framework. In this episode, we look at elevated experience that sits as part of the wider social and cultural trend, the pleasure principle, a movement that centers around food and drink as a source of pleasure and escapism. And in these turbulent times, it's more important than ever to find respite and fun where we can in this COVID era. Everything from snacking, cooking, and meal times is taking on a greater and deeper meaning. And since meal times and snacking occasions are more important than ever, that means that we want to get the most out of what we're eating. We want to take everything we consume to the next level. That means, for example, adding indulgent little touches to a dish, creating a party atmosphere to turn an everyday meal into an occasion. Or perhaps just getting our hands dirty and making something from scratch for the first time. It's all about getting the maximum pleasure, even if we have limited resources to hand. So let's start with show and tell. Let's just rewind a moment to pre-pandemic times. Mystery and secrets arguably ruled the roost in the food world. Special sauce recipes were fiercely guarded by fast food brands. New restaurants made their name off the back of how on earth did they do that signature dishes. And some fine dining establishments even banning mobile phones at tables to keep their tasting menus off social media. But now we're in very different times. As restaurants, producers and retailers alike are no longer able to engage with customers directly, they've found new ways to communicate and connect at an emotional level, but in a digital space. Prize recipes and sneak peek behind the scenes are being given away. Virtual tours and tastings being given by vineyards, restaurants posting recipes of their signature dishes, and Michelin-starred chefs hosting online cooking classes with live Q&As, and a host of suppliers, farmers and growers connecting directly with consumers and diners in the virtual space. In these extraordinary times, it seems that sharing is very much caring when it comes to food knowledge and information, and all in the online space. Although we might be easing into a new normal, consumers are already used to accessing information and events virtually on the likes of TikTok, on Instagram and Zoom. There's no doubt that some of these changes are here to stay. And with that comes further opportunity to connect via new touch points, supporting physical products beyond the dining room and the retail shelf, as consumers cross-generationally have leapt forward years in their propensity to engage online. Then we have true carb artisan. In recent times, the notion that carbs are not so good has been thrown out of the window by many consumers. Artisan bakeries would have actually attracted long queues of consumers wanting home-baked sourdough loaves and pastries made with fresh milled flour and craft butter. As lockdown measures commenced, our love of good old carbs grew even deeper. Consumers aren't just buying these carbs, but they're putting their skills to use and making it themselves. Pizza, pasta, sourdough, banana bread, cakes, croissants, and even pushing the boundaries with focaccia, art, babka and Swedish buns. We really can't seem to get enough of that feel-good artisan carb. Many retailers have reported selling out of bakery ingredients, and social media platforms are burgeoning with home cooks experimenting and upskilling with baking and bakery. As such, consumers and home cooks are discovering a new appreciation of the skill, the craft, the time, and the flavors associated with artisan bakery. Cooking and baking in particular are known to have comforting, anti-stress effects. Comfort baking or procrastinating, call it what you will. However, there's no denying that home baking has become a global obsession. Bread, especially sourdough, demands patience, knowledge, and a fair amount of skill. But when we do manage to produce a decent loaf with just flour, water, and salt, like our ancestors, it becomes a thing of pride that cooks are sharing in their droves. Even in a post-COVID era, consumers will take the experiences of lockdown into the future, where they'll have a closer affinity with food and bakery in particular, with opportunity in baking equipment from bread makers to pizza ovens. Park-baked goods in chilled, a new generation of frozen and ambient bakery, and the need for convenience for an upskilled home baker. Then we have touch of luxe. Consumers are unsurprisingly going to change their outlook and spending patterns as we're faced with the reality of insecurity and economic recession. However, that doesn't mean that we still don't want to have a little treat every now and again. Rather than big blowouts, little touches of luxury be the quickest path to pick me up for many. We may get our fix from decadent ingredients with the likes of oyster or champagne in sauces, or truffle or andouille in mayo, perhaps pasta inlaid with fresh herbs. Alternatively, small treats such as mini strawberry tart rather than a mid-morning flapjack or a a bow slider or a raclette-filled mini rosti. After social distance relaxes and supermarket queues die, we may continue getting that delivery of butter and eggs and milk from the local farm shop, or consider swapping out our cheaper bangers for artisan local sausages from the butcher. In other words, turning everyday meal times, breakfast and snacking into mini occasions by utilising the little touches of luxury and indulgence to make everyday food a pleasure. Then we have creating memories. Globally, if we have an occasion to celebrate, traditionally many of us like to host parties. We typically look to restaurants, pubs and bars as our go-to for food and drink ambience. This picture changed suddenly and dramatically as we face lockdown and social distance. However, just because we're at home doesn't mean to say we don't want to have fun and to party. In many ways, it's more important than ever to celebrate big occasions like birthdays, but also turn everyday things into celebrations in their own right. Food and drink is at the centre of just about every occasion, which therefore gives restaurants and retailers alike a great opportunity. After all, what's a birthday without a cake or a picnic without a hamper? Even when you're stuck at home, there are ways to make memories every day and a wealth of potential to explore. From night-in kits with popcorn to virtual dinner parties where everybody gets the same meal delivered with a cook-along, and even birthday cake boxes, cake, the candles, the wine, the gifts that have everything you need for that celebration at home with your family. In the COVID era, even long after lockdown has relaxed, we expect a residual caution to remain. And as such, there'll be an opportunity in staying in being the new going out and creating a sharing occasion with others, but at a distance. The kit has become the lockdown staple, helping to bring experience, hard to find ingredients, a safe adventure and new skills to many food occasions. We expect the opportunity to develop with new kit-based occasions such as barbecues, picnics, afternoon teas, as well as retail and food service collaborations. Then we have snackification. Recent years have seen a fundamental shift in eating patterns, snacking or eating multiple meals a day. People are adopting a more flexible lifestyle of eating rather than sitting down for 3 set meals, as we know. A recent piece of research by John Lewis and Waitrose found that 38% of UK consumers admitted to increased snacking during lockdown. And looking at Google Trends data to the end of April, it reported that quarantine snacks have become one of the most popular search terms online, not just in the UK, but globally. So snack culture is still a thing, and indeed the number of snacking occasions in the day may well be on the rise. We must take into consideration what and how people are snacking has changed. Grab and on-the-go snacks have become less relevant. Nutrition has taken something of a backseat to comfort when it comes to snack choices in the recent past. However, the picture will continue to evolve as people adapt to the new normal. Busy lives will call for wholesome and sustaining snacks, and an interest in general well-being will drive healthy choices. This will give the opportunity to explore heat and eat, multi-packs, direct-to-consumer subscription boxes, on-the-go bars and bites, as well as the forever favourite comfort and nostalgia food and drink flavours and formats. Then we have love cooking. Global lockdown measures have meant that we're spending a lot more time at home and of course in the kitchen. Shuttering of restaurants meant that our social feeds are no longer filled with pictures of dinners and nights out, but instead home cooking successes. With the help of professionals, online cooking classes, recipe releases from our favourite restaurants, and live cook-alongs, the globe has rediscovered its love of cooking and of course baking. And there's now an abundance of ways for budding home cooks to become bona fide gourmands. Though takeaways and restaurants are now slowly reopening, the consumer appetite for home cooking has been well and truly whetted. This does, however, leave plenty of opportunity for enterprising retailers and restaurants. I think restaurant meal kits, the Honest Burger one is one of my favourites, which you assemble and finish at home, but also restaurant quality provisions from meat, fish, produce and ingredients. In addition, baking kits, sourdough and beyond, virtual cooking classes, recipes for cooking on a budget, and of course home cooking equipment, as well as home cooks discovering the likes of pizza ovens and ice cream makers for the first time, as well as the newly explored potential that lies in store-cupboard cooking. So in this episode, we've highlighted the relevance and shifts that are likely to evolve and develop in the COVID era through the lens of elevated experience. A wealth of opportunity exists to leverage the newfound connection that exists with food and drink, to bring pleasure and escapism to consumers by creating memories, helping them to continue to love cooking, connect with their food and where it comes from, and to snack and add a touch of luxury to food and drink. By considering these shifts and how you as a business, brand, startup or entrepreneur Pivot and adapt in consideration of them will mean that you're well positioned to succeed in this COVID era in food and drink. In episode 9, we'll be looking at the social and cultural driver don't stop the gratification, looking at the mega trend friction free through the lens of COVID-19 and the longer term shifts that we expect to see manifest. So join our TFP community for the details of episode 9 and our recent special episodes and all the latest food and drink trend foresight. Visit thefoodpeople.co.uk and complete your details at the footer of the page. Stay safe and keep well, and we'll see you in episode 9. Thanks for listening.